Are you finding that your Tadalafil isn't delivering the consistent, reliable results you were hoping for? Maybe it worked great at first, but now it feels like a bit of a gamble. One day it's effective, the next it seems to fall short, leaving you frustrated and confused. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. It's one of the most common issues men face when using this medication. And a huge misconception is that the body has simply gotten used to it or built up a tolerance. For the vast majority of users, that's almost never the real reason for a decline in effectiveness. The truth is often much simpler and, more importantly, it's something you have a significant amount of control over. The reality is that Tadalafil is an incredibly powerful tool. But like any high-performance tool, it has specific operating requirements. Its success isn't just about swallowing a pill. It's about creating the right internal environment for that pill to do its job to the absolute fullest. Most people who experience inconsistent results are unknowingly creating roadblocks, subtle biological and behavioral factors that sabotage the medication before it even has a chance to work properly. They aren't using it incorrectly on purpose. They just haven't been shown the right way. That's exactly what we're going to fix today. In this video, we're going to break down 5 proven, evidence-based tips to optimize your Tadalafil use. These aren't just vague suggestions, they are actionable strategies rooted in the very biochemistry of how this medication interacts with your body. By understanding these key factors, you can move from uncertainty to confidence. So, let's get into the strategies that will help you unlock the full and consistent potential of Tadalafil. Before we dive into the specific tips, it's crucial to understand what Tadalafil is actually doing in your body. This isn't just a nice-to-know. Understanding the mechanism is the foundation for why the tips we're about to cover are so effective. First and foremost, a healthy erection is purely a cardiovascular event. It's all about blood flow. When you are aroused, your brain sends a signal down your nerves to the blood vessels in the penis. This signal triggers the release of a critical chemical called nitric oxide, or NO. Think of nitric oxide as the green light for an erection. It tells the smooth muscles in the arterial walls of your penis to relax completely. When these muscles relax, the arteries widen dramatically, allowing a powerful rush of blood to flow in and fill the erectile tissues, creating the firmness you're looking for. Now, your body also has a natural off switch to ensure an erection doesn't last forever. This switch is an enzyme called PDE5. Once the job is done, PDE5 comes in and breaks down the chemical messengers that nitric oxide created, causing the smooth muscles to contract again, the arteries to narrow, and the blood to flow back out. Think of PDE5 as the red light. In men with erectile dysfunction, this system is out of balance. Sometimes, the body isn't producing enough of the green light nitric oxide. More often, the red light PDE5 is too aggressive, stepping on the brakes and shutting down the process too early or preventing it from starting properly. This is where Tadalafil comes in. Its one and only job is to block the PDE5 enzyme. It doesn't create arousal, it doesn't send the initial signal, and it doesn't produce nitric oxide. Here's the key analogy. Tadalafil doesn't press the accelerator, it disables the brakes. By inhibiting PDE5, it allows the nitric oxide you naturally produce during arousal to do its job without being shut down prematurely. This keeps the blood vessels relaxed for longer, allowing for a stronger and more sustained erection. This mechanism is why Tadalafil is effective for both major causes of ED. If the cause is psychogenic, meaning anxiety or stress is releasing adrenaline, which constricts blood vessels, Tadalafil helps override that constricting effect. If the cause is vascular, meaning the blood vessels themselves are narrow due to lifestyle factors, Tadalafil helps them relax to their maximum possible diameter, maximizing whatever blood flow is available. Now that we understand it's all about maximizing this nitric oxide and blood flow system, let's look at exactly how to create the perfect conditions for it to work. Now, understanding the science, that it's all about boosting nitric oxide and controlling that boner killer enzyme, PDE5, is the absolute key. While Tadalafil is one way to approach this, a fascinating field of research has focused on powerful, all-natural ingredients that target this exact same pathway. In fact, one of the most compelling breakthroughs is a bizarrely simple home remedy, sometimes called a purple hardening tonic, that thousands of men are now using to restore rock-hard erections by naturally shutting down PD5 and flooding their system with nitric oxide precursors. I've made sure to link to a free video presentation that explains exactly how this natural method works. It's truly eye-opening. You can watch it right now by opening your phone's camera and pointing it at the QR code on your screen. I've also pinned the link right at the top of the comments section below. Tip number 1. The foundation of your success is a non-negotiable focus on lifestyle. This might sound basic, but it is, without a doubt, the most powerful factor in determining whether Tadalafil works well, works sometimes, or doesn't work at all. You have to think of your erectile health as a direct mirror of your overall cardiovascular health. The arteries in the penis are some of the smallest and most delicate in the entire body. They are the canary in the coal mine for your circulatory system. If they are struggling, it's often the very first sign that your wider vascular system is under stress. Tadalafil is designed to help these blood vessels relax and open up, but it can't perform miracles. It can't magically clear out plaque, it can't repair damaged arterial walls, and it can't force blood to flow through a system that is clogged and inflamed. You have to meet the medication halfway by optimizing the system it's designed to work on. This comes down to what we can call the 4 pillars of vascular health. First, consistent exercise. This is non-negotiable. A combination of cardiovascular activity, like brisk walking, jogging, or cycling, and resistance training boosts your body's natural production of nitric oxide, improves circulation everywhere, helps control blood pressure, and manages weight. Second, smart nutrition. A diet that's good for your heart is fantastic for your erections. This means focusing on whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats like those found in olive oil and avocados, while minimizing processed foods, excess sugar, and unhealthy saturated fats. These foods fight inflammation and keep your arteries clear and flexible. Third, maintaining a healthy weight. Excess body fat, particularly around the midsection, is a major contributor to erectile dysfunction. It drives inflammation, negatively impacts hormone levels, and puts a direct strain on your entire cardiovascular system. And fourth, quality sleep. This is one of the most underrated pillars. Deep, restorative sleep is when your body goes into repair mode. It's when you produce the most testosterone and when your body replenishes its nitric oxide synthase, the very enzyme responsible for creating the green light for an erection. Think of it this way. With every healthy choice you make, you are making Tadalafil's job easier. With every unhealthy choice, you're forcing it to fight an uphill battle it might not be able to win. Before you change anything about the medication itself, you must first build a solid foundation of health. Tip number 2, master the master key, your dose and your timing. This is by far the single biggest area where people go wrong, and it's responsible for the majority of cases where men believe the medication has stopped working. It breaks down into 2 equally important parts. Part A is the dose. Tadalafil is not a one-size-fits-all medication. The right dose for you depends on a multitude of factors, including the severity of your ED, your underlying health, your metabolism, and your individual sensitivity to the drug. It's absolutely critical to understand that the initial dose prescribed by a healthcare provider is a starting point, not a permanent sentence. It's meant to be evaluated and, if necessary, adjusted. One of the biggest mistakes men make is assuming that the dose that worked a year ago should work forever. Your body changes, and the underlying conditions causing your ED, whether it's vascular issues or the psychological weight of performance anxiety, can progress. This isn't a sign that you've built a tolerance to the medication in the way you might with other drugs. It's often a sign that the root cause of the problem has worsened slightly, and therefore, you now require a stronger therapeutic effect to overcome it. This is why ongoing communication with a healthcare professional is so important. If you find that 5 milligrams daily was once perfect but now feels weak, it might be time to discuss moving to 10 milligrams or trying a different dosing strategy. Conversely, if you're taking 20 milligrams and experiencing side effects like headaches or nasal congestion, it might be possible to lower the dose while maintaining the desired effect. The goal is to find the minimum effective dose that gives you the results you want with the fewest side effects. Don't be afraid to have that conversation and work with a professional to dial in the perfect dose for your specific situation right now. Part B is the timing and absorption. This is arguably even more critical than the dose. You can be on the perfect dose, but if you don't give the medication the right conditions to be absorbed into your bloodstream, you will get a fraction of the effect. Tadalafil is taken orally, which means it has to go through your digestive system, get absorbed into your bloodstream, and then travel to the target tissues. This process takes time. For Tadalafil, the peak concentration in your blood, the point where it is most powerful, is reached approximately 2 hours after you take it. Many men make the mistake of taking it just 30 minutes before they expect to be intimate and then feel disappointed when the results are lackluster. You must plan ahead. But even more important than the timing is the environment in your stomach. Here is the golden rule. For maximum, predictable absorption, take Tadalafil on an empty or near-empty stomach. When you eat a large meal, especially one that is high in fat, your body diverts a significant amount of blood flow to your digestive system. More importantly, the stomach slows its emptying process to work on breaking down the food. If you take Tadalafil with a heavy meal, the pill can get stuck in your stomach for hours, mixed with food. This dramatically slows down its absorption and can significantly reduce the total amount that makes it into your bloodstream. That peak effect that should happen at 2 hours might now take 4 hours or more, and the peak itself will be much lower than it should have been. This is the exact scenario that leads to an unreliable, weak, or seemingly non-existent effect. For the most consistent results, a good rule of thumb is to wait at least 2 hours after a small, low-fat meal, or 3 to 4 hours after a larger, heavier meal before taking your dose. This ensures your stomach is clear and the medication can be absorbed quickly and efficiently, giving you the predictable, powerful effect you're looking for. Tip number 3. Understand the synergy killer, alcohol. Let's address a very realistic scenario. Often, the context for intimacy involves a nice dinner out, which might include a glass of wine, a beer, or a cocktail. Many men assume this is harmless, but when it comes to the effectiveness of Tadalafil, alcohol can be a significant saboteur. It works against you in 2 distinct and powerful ways. First, from a purely physiological standpoint, alcohol is a depressant of the central nervous system. This means it slows down nerve signaling and processing throughout your body, including the signals from your brain to your penis that are essential for initiating and maintaining an erection. While a small amount might help lower inhibitions and reduce anxiety for some, anything more than a minimal amount starts to directly impair the neurological and vascular mechanics of erectile function. You are essentially asking Tadalafil to help you press the accelerator while you are simultaneously pressing the brake with alcohol. Second, and just as important, alcohol interferes with the metabolism and absorption of Tadalafil. Your liver is responsible for processing both alcohol and the medication. When you consume both at the same time, your liver prioritizes metabolizing the alcohol, as it sees it as a toxin. This can delay the breakdown and activation of Tadalafil, meaning it takes longer to reach effective levels in your bloodstream. This effect, combined with the slowdown in absorption caused by any food you ate with your drink, creates a perfect storm for a disappointing outcome. Furthermore, both alcohol and Tadalafil are vasodilators, meaning they both widen blood vessels. When taken together, this combined effect can sometimes lead to an exacerbation of side effects like dizziness, facial flushing, and headaches, as your blood pressure may drop more than it otherwise would. This doesn't mean you can never have a drink again. However, if you are struggling with the consistency of your results, the single best experiment you can conduct is to try using Tadalafil on a night when you've had no alcohol at all. Pay close attention to the timing, as we discussed in the last tip, and observe the difference. For many men, the improvement in the strength, reliability, and speed of onset is dramatic. Understanding that alcohol is not a neutral party in this equation is a critical step toward optimizing your results. Tip number 4. Introduce the performance amplifiers, L-arginine and L-citrulline. Once you've solidified your foundation with lifestyle improvements and mastered your dosing and timing, you can start to explore more advanced strategies. This tip involves adding specific supplements that work in perfect harmony with Tadalafil's mechanism of action. Think of it this way. If Tadalafil is the high-performance engine, these supplements are the high-octane fuel that makes it run even better. The two most well-researched and effective supplements for this purpose are the amino acids L-arginine and L-citrulline. Remember how we established that nitric oxide is the essential green light molecule for an erection? Well, your body has to make that nitric oxide from something. The primary raw material it uses is L-arginine. By supplementing with L-arginine, you're essentially providing your body with more of the direct building blocks it needs to produce nitric oxide when you become aroused. When Tadalafil then blocks PDE5, there's a more abundant supply of the green light signal for it to protect, leading to a more robust and powerful vasodilatory effect. So, why add L-citrulline? This is where it gets even smarter. While L-arginine is the direct precursor, it's not absorbed very efficiently by the body and is broken down quickly by the liver. L-citrulline, on the other hand, is absorbed much more effectively. Once it's in your system, your kidneys convert it directly into L-arginine. This process creates a slower, more sustained increase in L-arginine levels in your bloodstream than taking L-arginine alone. Taking both together gives you an initial spike from the L-arginine and a longer-lasting, elevated baseline from the L-citrulline, ensuring you have the necessary fuel available for hours. Now, dosage is absolutely critical here. This is not a more is better situation, but an enough is necessary one. Most of the positive scientific studies that have shown a benefit for erectile function used specific therapeutic doses. Many over-the-counter supplements are significantly underdosed. For a noticeable effect, research points to a daily intake of at least 2.5 grams or 2,500 milligrams of L-arginine and at least 1 gram or 1,000 milligrams of L-citrulline. These supplements are widely available and considered very safe for most people. By adding them to your daily regimen, you're not just relying on Tadalafil to preserve your nitric oxide, you're actively helping your body produce more of it, creating a powerful 1-2 punch that can significantly amplify your results. Tip number 5. Address the hormonal factor, the critical connection to testosterone. Our final tip addresses an often overlooked but fundamentally important piece of the puzzle, your hormonal health. While Tadalafil is a powerful vascular tool, its effectiveness doesn't happen in a vacuum. The entire system of male sexual response, from desire to performance, is heavily influenced by hormones, with testosterone being the master conductor. Scientific evidence has clearly shown that PDE5 inhibitors, including Tadalafil, work significantly less effectively in an environment of low testosterone. The receptors in the penis that respond to the chain of events initiated by nitric oxide are themselves dependent on adequate testosterone levels to function optimally. Here's a simple analogy. Think of the electrical system in a house. Tadalafil is like a specialist electrician who comes in to fix the wiring in a specific room, the penis, to make sure the lights, the erection, turn on brightly when you flip the switch, arousal. However, testosterone is the main power switch at the breaker box that supplies electricity to the entire house. If that main switch is only halfway on, providing weak or inconsistent power, the electrician can do a perfect job on the wiring, but the lights in the room will still be dim, flicker, or refuse to turn on at all. You need sufficient testosterone for the entire cascade to function powerfully. This is why it's so important to be aware of the symptoms of low testosterone. If your erectile dysfunction is accompanied by other issues like persistent low energy and fatigue, a noticeable drop in your sex drive or libido, unexplained mood swings or irritability, or difficulty building or maintaining muscle mass, it could be a sign that your testosterone levels are suboptimal. If this sounds like you, and especially if you've implemented the other tips and are still not getting the results you want, a simple blood test arranged by a healthcare professional can provide a clear answer. If your levels are indeed low, addressing this hormonal imbalance, whether through lifestyle interventions or specific therapies, can be the final, game-changing step that allows Tadalafil to finally work as it was designed to. Correcting the main power issue allows the specialized tool to do its job, often leading to a dramatic improvement in both erectile function and overall well-being. So, to quickly recap our 5 key strategies. First, build a non-negotiable foundation of a healthy lifestyle. Second, master your dose and timing, always taking Tadalafil on an empty stomach. Third, be mindful of alcohol, as it works against the medication. Fourth, consider amplifying your results by supplementing with therapeutic doses of L-arginine and L-citrulline. And fifth, pay attention to your overall hormonal health, particularly your testosterone levels. By moving beyond simply taking a pill and instead adopting a holistic approach that optimizes your body's internal environment, you can transform Tadalafil from an inconsistent hope into a reliable and effective tool. You have the power to significantly improve your results. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and share this video with someone who might benefit from it. And I'd love to know, which of these tips was the most surprising or eye-opening for you? Let me know in the comments below.